Okay, well, we have a big agenda tonight, and want to make sure that we give kind of ample time to kind of go through our introductions and elections. Plus, we have a special presentation. Um, so first, for those that are new joining us, my name is Allison Kerr. I am a co-chair along with Robin Dempsey. And Robin had a previous commitment tonight, which is the wonderful reason why we often do co-chairs, because sometimes you don't get both, but you always get one of us, right? And so I want to welcome everybody to the June meeting. This is an exciting meeting because this is also when we kind of do our annual elections. I am very grateful for the response of people that are interested in joining our efforts. And we often start by a land acknowledgement. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody that would be interested in doing our land acknowledgement. This is where someone jumps in so that I don't have to do everything at the entire meeting.
I can do it, Allison.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah. A land acknowledgement is a formal statement recognizing the indigenous people of a place. It is a public gesture in appreciation for the past and present indigenous stewardship of the lands that we now occupy. As we begin this meeting, we respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascan people. The Dena'ina have stewarded this land for thousands of years and continue to do so today. We honor their ongoing connection to this land, waters, and community. We recognize the enduring presence and contributions of Alaska Native peoples across the state and are committed to uplifting Indigenous voices, histories, and leadership. As a collaborative group working to support and house members of our community, we acknowledge the legacy of colonization and its ongoing impacts, and we affirm our responsibility to promote equity, justice, and partnership with the Indigenous peoples of this region.
Thank you, Laura. Also, this is a time where we also put forward any kind of mission moment, which is a way to acknowledge this work is hard, but there are actually many positive things happening, many experiences that we could lift up. The one thing that I would say is that I flew all day yesterday to get here to be one of 3 sites across the U.S. representing Alaska on prevention.
With the whole meeting?
Well, it looks like it's still happening.
Oh, well, anyway, I was going to say one of 3 that was brought here by the Rakes Foundation to talk about efforts in prevention with youth homelessness. So,
hey, hey, ACEH, you guys are not on mute. And
yeah,
and
thank
Allison
you,
speaking.
Tasha.
Okay.
One of 3 sites brought here to talk about what the city's efforts are in doing prevention work. And while oftentimes we are struggling with, are we doing enough? I think it's nice when we're recognized at the efforts that we are doing. So for me, it was almost like a 24-hour mission moment to say that I am grateful for the organizations that are all coming together to live in a space of prevention.
This is Roger. We've been having technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
That's okay.
And I do have a mission moment related to the recent abatement. I just wanted to speak how good the volunteers, the administration, and everybody did in doing the work on the ground to get folks prepared for the abatement, and how well the abatement itself went. I was really concerned about some of the stances and the posturing that was going on as we led up to it, but the police were very understanding, accommodating, very unescalating, and nobody left in handcuffs. And I was really impressed with how it all came together.
That's great, Roger. Thanks for bringing that forward. That was a lot of people trying to work together for a very difficult and challenging situation that I'm glad to hear that you were there and that it went well. Okay, let's look at our consent agenda. So this is one of the things that we do. We look at our agenda and we look at the past minutes from the May meeting. And we ask if anybody has any changes that they would like to add to this agenda. This is a full public meeting, so people are able to bring forward anything that they want to discuss with the HPRS Advisory Council. So if anybody has anything that they would like to add or change on the agenda, please bring that forward now. Or at this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Allison, we are still short one member for quorum.
Okay, this is the time that we bring forward any jokes or any funny stories that anyone has. And they can't all be about Washington, D.C. So.
And real
Okay.
quickly, I have, there are a couple of people in the meeting. I have a guest. Is that, oh, that must be Kenny. And then I have somebody showing up as Occam's Razor, and I'd like to know your name. So if you could please chat it to me or change the name on your display, please. Thank you.
And usually we have someone that says, I am some so-and-so's AI. I do have a funny story. I have one employee that didn't realize that he actually wasn't attending most of our meetings, but his AI was, because it was connected to his Outlook. And finally I said to him, Colin, which I'll confess, I was like, Colin, do you ever get off your camera? And then he realized he actually was never attending this meeting, and I thought he was just quiet. So, you know, AI does record, but it sure doesn't participate. Okay, other people are gonna have to bring jokes.
Allison, this is Emily. I don't have any jokes, unfortunately, but I will say that even without quorum, you can still proceed through information and have an information session and hold off on the consent agenda until later. And if we get quorum, we can go through that. Just as a consideration, you don't have to, we can wait, but I don't know if we're going to meet it unless, well, we can keep our fingers.
How many people do we need to?
We need one more person to meet quorum.
Okay, so I don't have with my baby view here. I'm trying to see who we're missing. So Robin, I know. Who else might we be missing? Jay Lopez, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi Allison, sorry to bother you. Am I coming through there?
Yeah,
Hello?
Totally can hear you.
All right, sorry. So yeah, volunteering at pantry, stepping out for a minute. I'm usually good with the wit and the jokes. Not right now, sorry. It's one of those, but yeah, a couple things to bring up. I don't know if it's something you want to discuss or not. Obviously, the abatement. People want to say the best abatement ever, but abatements are not a sign of success. They're a sign of failure. And when people get pushed along and they get pushed and pushed and pushed again, sometimes they break, and you're separating people from providers. So even though providers are showing up just before the abatement, when you displace people, they go 6 different ways. It's that much harder to find people, that much harder to support people. I know areas where people have gone, they're farther from water. The police are driving them over and over and over again, essentially to the point where it's a breaking point, and some may drop and some may do worse, but it's not a sign of success. It's a sign of failure. And I hope at some point in time, people will start to see the errors of their ways and try to support people so that abatements don't happen. People need places to go, and right now they don't have them. The other thing I don't know if there was time to discuss, or at some point in the meeting, is AO 2025-74. So I didn't see too many people from HPRS at Tuesday's assembly meeting, but essentially approximately 2/3 of the people, maybe 75%, were against it. There was a gentleman from Davis Park that came up and he spoke well. It's a guy I know that I was taking food to, and one person representing somebody who is at Cuddy, he got a little loud. But generally, people have checked out from the process. They're outside. Essentially, what ended up happening at the end of the assembly meeting is it was continued for July 11th. It's going to be at City Hall. And it's going to be at a date and time, essentially, where the average normal person can't go because they're at work. And so I'm hoping that people see the errors of their ways, because that ordinance is essentially just going to criminalize people for putting their head on the ground and not having a place to go when there essentially aren't places that are designated. And it'll make it that much difficult to house people, make it that much more difficult for people to get a job. But I think a lot of people understand this that are in this meeting. And I would hope that maybe there's a common consensus and voice to try and, plead for people, that are in a position that are going to make a decision on this. Do not do the wrong thing, please. Just, make this thing go away. And it's if people stand up, then I think it will. But sometimes bad things happen when good people don't stand up. And I'm just hoping maybe, there'll be a common voice here. But that's all I had to say. And I'm going to step out for a bit.
I appreciate that more than a joke. So, so I appreciate you bringing that forward. I actually wanted to be at that one. We did have some staff,
somebody from Covenant
my
House
organization, speak. And so I definitely, this is the right place for you to bring up those comments, those concerns. This is the right place for us to hear that. So thank you for not, following my lead on a joke, but bringing up some things that intentionally we need to be thinking about.
And maybe one last comment too. The eye right now is to lead with the carrot. Lead with the stick rather than the carrot. And essentially, the tough part about this is there needs to be some sort. I know typically the funds coming in are housing-based case management, and then you essentially send the person out. Hey, outreach person, go find the person at the top of the wait list. Go find the next person at the top of the wait list, and it's the piecemeal type thing. Laura Cox, I'm trying to reach you. I know you're on leave, but there's a family that was displaced at Cuddy, and there was a holdup with them being able to get an ID. They tried stopping by ACH, and more or less, they just decide they're going to get it on their own, and they're trying to get housed. But people need support, and they're getting pushed around and around, and it makes it that much more difficult to find people. I found about 2/3 of the ones that are at Davis. But anyways, I'm checking out. I need to get back. I'll listen, and sorry for taking over the meeting.
No, this is the time for you to talk. We kind of reverse the order. I agree that we can go through kind of our special presentation and discussion without establishing the quorum. But I wanted to make sure that we also can consider anything that needs to be added. And during the interim, I'm going to be texting to see if we can't get quorum here.
No. Okay. So you're looking for a time filler?
Yeah.
All right.
You did great.
All right. Sorry. All right. I'm done.
No, you did a great job.
I'll be back in a bit. All right. Okay, bye.
Thanks. Okay. Now you guys will tell me, I don't have the ability to see if anybody is joining us.
We're still without quorum. So you are able to, really the main thing that you can't do is the consent agenda, but the special representation and the candidate introductions, which I think there are 2 of the 9. Oh, sorry, no. And then there's Tasha. Sorry, there's a few of the interim that are here as well, so I apologize, but there's a handful of those. So you can still proceed with all of that, even without a quorum.
And is Randy here?
No.
Okay. And Laura, do you know if Randy's joining us? Just running late?
I'm not 100% sure. I know Miss Julia was not able to make it because I think she's on her way to DC to get her doctorate or something awesome like that.
Wow.
But I'm happy to go through the PowerPoint with everybody and kind of move us along if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and get started, and I'll just be texting some members and seeing if we can, so that we don't postpone any of the election part.
Okay, that sounds good. I hope you guys don't mind if I don't start my video. I'm on my mobile hotspot out of state.
No worries.
All right. So thank you all for being here today. I know a lot of you present have kind of been part of this coalition for years, and then some are new. So I just kind of wanted to take us back, kind of back to a time when collaboration wasn't, something that we checked off an application, and it was really kind of how we worked in the community. And so we're here to talk today about how we can move forward as a continuum of care by kind of returning to that grassroots level collaboration that kind of centers on community alignment and shared solutions. I don't know if we can move to the second slide. Awesome. So let's start with what used to happen. So we all used to sit down together around a table, all agencies, whether you were large or small. And what we did was we just talked honestly about what each organization did best, where we had interest or capacity, and then what programs were needed to fill any gaps in our current system. We coordinated applications. We entered into subrecipient agreements or memorandums of agreements or understanding, and we really focused on wrapping services around clients. But somewhere along the way, we kind of began to silo. I think maybe it was due to a little bit of competition, definitely because of limited resources, and I think a lot of us were just really, really overwhelmed. But now as a result, many of us are kind of now reinventing the wheel instead of kind of building on each other's strengths. And that disconnection, hurts not just our agencies, but also the clients that we're serving, and then our continuum as a whole. It also, sometimes hurts the applications that we're putting in. If you can move to slide 3. So why it worked. So what really made it successful back then was more than just talking. It was kind of the intention that we had. So we aligned around mission, because a lot of us are nonprofit agencies. We all have a special mission. And what we've kind of seen, is we kind of move out of those missions a little bit when, something comes up, or maybe we need to fill a gap in funding, or we want to apply. We want our community to have an application in, but there's no one else to do it. And so by aligning ourselves around mission, we were able to kind of assess what we could and couldn't do as agencies and as a continuum. And then we created, kind of shared outcomes. So there was kind of a culture of transparency and trust by doing that, because we were all just straight up and honest. And no, we can't do that. Yes, we'd love to do that. No, I need help doing that. And we all know a lot of us don't like to ask for help. So by doing that, it kind of translated into better programs, stronger grants, and really more consistent client care. When agencies trust one another and plan together, the entire system becomes stronger, essentially. And clients don't fall through the cracks, and then our community sees a greater impact. Slide 4. So what we're losing. So here's what we risk if we don't shift back. We lose innovation, we waste time duplicating efforts, and we miss out on joint funding opportunities. And then perhaps most importantly, our clients get inconsistent experiences depending on which agency they enter through. So we're not doing anybody a favor by kind of staying in our silos. The cost of the isolation really is systemic inefficiency and individual suffering. Slide 5. So how do we fix it? What we are proposing is that we need to de-silo and recommit to a unified approach. So what that means is carving out space to kind of plan together and not just react. It means aligning funding strategies and designing services jointly. And we don't want to just wait until a grant is due in 2 weeks to kind of find partners. What we should be doing is proactively building those MOUs and those partnership models now. Slide 6. So some tangible steps that we can take starting now. What we propose is to first host a roundtable to kind of realign our missions and kind of map who is doing what. And then what we'd like to do is form a work group to identify the current system gaps using data and frontline insight. And I know we have a couple committees that are kind of working on those too. So bringing those into that. And then really creating almost like a collaboration charter within our COC in order to kind of memorialize our shared vision and expectations. And then we would like to designate a liaison or like a facilitator in order to keep the momentum going. Because really without coordination, even our best intentions can stall. And then slide 7. So closing, really no one agency can solve homelessness. Not mine, not yours, but together we can build the infrastructure and the programs that will change lives. So let's get back to what works. Let's reinvest in each other's missions, and then let's coordinate, not just because we have to, but because it's the only way we'll move forward as a system. So thank you.
You know, I think this has been a great example of a process where, you know, I even remember, you know, the HUD demonstration project. It was very new for us. And actually at the time, the Anchorage Coalition had one employee and the employee was leaving, right? And when we listened to the youth board, what they wanted was permanency navigator, host home, and they wanted permanent supportive housing, right? And there was no one in our space. So I want to be the first to thank VOA for one, the courage to do that. And then two, the courage to say, maybe we're not the right organization in doing that for all the service, but that partnering is a better solution. And I know Julia was going to try to be on here, and you know, and we probably record this. So I'm not doing this just to thank her, but I really do thank the courage of VOA to get us into a space where that now is a continued resource in our community, whereas it could have been a lost resource. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, NeighborWorks, but thank you, Julia, for VOA stepping in a space where it did not exist in any of Alaska, PSH for any young person. So I see a couple of hands. I see Will's first.
Laura, I think I saw your hand first, so if you wanted to start.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I just wanted to do a little bit of backstory. I guess I kind of left that out. I'm sorry. So for anybody who's not aware, VOA really wants, you know, kind of like Allison was saying, they stepped up to the plate to kind of deliver a lot of services in YHDP that not necessarily other agencies had the capacity to do so, or you know, the ability. And so they did so. However, they've realized that it's kind of out of their mission alignment. It is, it's a lot to take on, and it's a huge task, and they've been doing it for years. And the organization as a whole really feels that, that those programs would be a better fit with other agencies.
Mhm.
And so they've reached out and want to really collaborate like we did, you know, in the past. And so we're all, you know, kind of getting back to those grassroots and sitting around a table and saying, you know, here's our mission. This is what aligns. What is your mission? And where does it align with you? And do you have the capacity? And so they did so, both with Covenant House and with NeighborWorks. And, you know, between the three of us, we were able to kind of determine that NeighborWorks does have the capacity, and it does, the housing piece aligns with what our mission is and what we do. And that it worked out to where we were able to take over those YHDP grants and then really support those wraparound services and VOA's mission alignment, which is behavioral health, youth behavioral health specifically, and you know, create that powerful MOU and that powerful agreement together to make sure that, you know, we're not just throwing a program to someone else, but, you know, we're all working together to make sure that all the pieces that are needed for each one of those clients is filled in, and each one of those pieces is filled in a way that it doesn't overwhelm an agency, and it's not in one agency all alone, but we can work together to kind of build this program to be way, you know, way better than it was and better than it will be, you know, in the future.
100%
And
agree.
yeah, and that's kind of what we're doing with Awake as well. You know, is NeighborWorks was applied for a DV bonus grant because we weren't sure if anybody else was, and we didn't want, you know, that funding to go away. NeighborWorks was awarded the funding, but DV is not our mission, right? Housing is our mission, but we are not a DV provider. So really building that partnership with Randy and Awake and utilizing their assets and their mission-centered alignment to come up with an idea of what should this program look like, what services need to be there, not, you know, outside of just housing. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. And we're hoping, you know, in the next NOFO is putting in a collaborative application for this DV program and entering into maybe a sub-recipient agreement so that they get, you know, we can fund some of their work that they do along with the housing piece and be able to deliver all of those wraparound services to individuals that are experiencing domestic violence.
I will say that I think Julia coined this, but I often kind of say it is do what we do best and partner for the rest, right? I think it, and recognize that things like the YHDP, things like going after the bonus project, they literally, our COC was stagnant at an amount for years, right? And, you know, bringing in about $2 million a year and now getting closer to $4.5 to $5 million, right? And so it does sometimes take, like we had a great applicant for the COC builds, right? Like it's going after some of these things as groups and as partners so that no one entity fills the brunt in which they can't provide all the services. So really grateful for NeighborWorks, really grateful for Julia and VOA, the courage to have the conversation. And like Laura said, they contacted us. That's not what we do either, right? And so it really was about trying to getting them to the right organization instead of what could have happened, which is giving the resource back, right? And the service being eliminated. Okay, Will, I will say that we do have quorum now. So after this, if you guys wouldn't mind voting for our agenda and allowing us to proceed with that, that'd be great. Go ahead, Will.
Thanks, Allison, and thanks, Laura, both for adding that additional context. I know we all discussed it at the executive committee meeting, a few weeks ago, which I found really helpful. And I want to echo everything that Allison said. I think it shows a lot of maturity in the community, both from VOA and you all and Awake. And, I'm really glad that these collaborations are happening and kind of the self-awareness of the organizations of where the strengths are and where the partnerships, might make in collaborations make more sense, and really hope that we can continue to move that direction so that we can best utilize the limited resources that we do have as a community. And so thanks for the presentation. I'm definitely on board. I think we need to continue to, see how we can better coordinate. On those items that you discussed. I know I see this as kind of some limiting factors. You had the gap analysis on here, and I've struggled a little bit with this. Like it's something that we're supposed to work on through the community priorities committee, but part of me is also like I feel like I want more. I want engagement from a broader swath of the community to like really do that justice, in my view. And I'm wondering if like now is going to be like good time to really be kind of ramping some of this up. We're going to have a lot of turnover in the advisory council itself. There are changes at the coalition, and so I wonder if this could be a good chance to kind of refresh things, get messaging out, try to like increase membership and uh, attendance at
Yep.
GOC events and meetings, and like really rethink and imagine like how we can like use these task forces or whatever to do the work and kind of we have a lot of major things that we are working on. I know Lauren, your committee is kind of rethinking coordinated entry, and then again the gaps analysis. And so I think now, and also with like in the last year, new mayor, I think we have a lot of newer things happening, and would love to like see us all be in alignment, trying to work towards a common goal of making homelessness brief and rare and ultimately non-existent. And so hopeful that we can be getting rid of those silos and kind of working together. And so thank you again for the presentation.
Yeah, and I think we had kind of a unique situation on the advisory council where we brought on, a couple of members that were filling vacancies and positions. But now is the time that we're going to come together as a team, right? We have some great new candidates. We have those that stepped in and interims that are stepping up. Just incredibly grateful. And the reality is it doesn't have to be all us. We can encourage other people to join these committees. We just have to figure out the right cadence, right? Kind of when I first joined, I felt like there was a 2 meetings a week, and it was almost overwhelming, right? And I realize now we can get better at letting people know when are the meetings, what are the meetings about, and allowing people to bring comments, expertise, bringing lived experience at the forefront of our work, and really trying to bring some of that back. So I'm very excited about it. I know that we've had this structure where now there could be others that are really dying to be a co-chair. But Robin and I are willing to be co-chairs one more year as we start to really settle and structurally get this COC advisory board to really understand its role in the community. But I promise, if there's anybody that says, no, you and Robin or you, Allison, go away, I will go away. But, that person hasn't appeared yet, and I've asked. But if you're on the line and, if you're on the call and you're just dying to spend most of your time doing COC work, then just please message me right now. Otherwise, just to create some stability in a time like last year. I think was a very unique year with just the entire, lack of a better word, the entire world being unstable. So with that being said, we're willing to stay, create stability, also create a council that's not people dependent, right? Like I want this council whenever I move from the co-chair to a committee member, I want it to be stronger. I don't want my absence to create any type of loss in step. And I truly want all you guys to believe that it is really about creating structures that's not people dependent, but that are people bring out the best in us, right? And that each of us strive to be those people that is creating a system that in perpetuity is bringing strength to our community. So with that said, do I have anybody that is willing to make a motion on our minutes and or our consent agenda so that we can roll right into elections?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda and minutes.
Roger, second.
Okay. Do I have any opposing? Hearing and seeing none. Of course, I can only see 4 of you, but hearing and seeing none from the 4 I can see, let's roll right into candidate introductions and election information. So I know that we don't have all of the candidates here. So Mitch or Emily, can somebody help me with, I know that I saw a summary sheet. And I also, if you can bring forward, we have how many positions, and it sounds like we have kind of the right amount of, not that we're not voting you guys in, don't want you to think that, but I think we have the same amount of open spots as we have applicants there. So is that correct?
So first of all, Emily, if you could please repost that summary sheet, just so it's at the top of the chat for everyone. That is we took all of the applications that we received and kind of condensed them down into a summary for folks to digest easily. It's also going to be on the ballot that you'll be able to log into and use to vote.
Okay.
So it'll be there as well. So at this point,
Hey, so
sorry, I'm getting information as we speak here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, I want to clarify something. I've touched base with Olivia twice, and she has submitted her application. I want to make sure that she's a candidate on it. One of the things we've been missing is healthcare, and she is representing that. And so, can you tell me the status of that? She was going to repost that again today?
Yes, we have Olivia's application and she is on the slate.
Okay, great.
So
she might not be in your summary, but she's on the slate.
She is. We've updated it.
Oh.
Yeah, her and David are part of that. So we do have, it appears that we do have 10 vacancies. We've had some resignations and some decisions being made about the status of the ex officios as it regards the total makeup of the council. So we do have, at this point, we have 10 vacancies and 9 applicants.
Okay.
Four of our applicants are currently sitting interim members.
Okay.
That's, of course, Olivia, Tasha, Taffy, and
Randy.
Okay. So that's where those numbers sit.
Okay.
And so I just, I have, let's see. Sorry.
And I will tell, to the group, to the 20 or so people that's on this call, last week I wrote to all of the people that are on. There have been some members that literally have been on this for 9 or 10 years, trying to carry and trying to make the right type of representation, right? Like, I think of one of my favorite people in the world, Dave Kuiper. who has literally said, I just can't keep doing this, and absolutely wonderful, and absolutely will continue to participate, but is stepping down from the role of a council member, right? So I want to say thank you for the people that have carried it. Sharon has been the data committee chair for 7 years, 8 years, right? So it's time, right? Like we don't have term limits, which at some point, you know, we might go into a conversation about term limits. But and so there are many people. So that's leaving some spots that I'm really going to need some help with each of us. We're really going to have to look at one. We're going to need a chair of the data committee, right? It's a very important committee. I can volunteer people that I know, but I definitely believe that that is a committee that can be looking at, it does not have to just look at the compliance of our work, but it can look at, we can be looking at some of the best practices involved in our work, right? And we can be looking at shared system and shared information. And while Sharon, very enthusiastic about doing that, has said, I'm ready to step down and step off. So I'm so grateful that I knew that we had some amazing candidates coming in that, you know, are willing to be in this space, that that I was comfortable saying, you know, thank you for your service. And we're going to be okay, right? And we're going to be strong, and we're going to continue to get stronger. So while at this one, I know we don't have to decide who wants to be voluntold for committee chair positions, but I do believe, and Roger needs some help. Grace Gallagher has just had some tremendous challenges, and she is amazing, but she also gets to deal with life, right? And so with that being said, I think that we like that co-chair spot. So we have compliance, we have data. Will would like somebody, I'm sure, right? We do kind of like the co-structure, right? And so we have community prioritization, and last but not least, what am I missing? Coordinated entry. And I know that Laura is smart. I heard she recruited one of my staff to be a co-chair with her on that. So all of these spaces give us opportunities to really just continue to strengthen it and not put the burden on any one member of us who also has a full-time job or also has life going on. So just want to let people know that over the next couple of weeks, really interested in filling those positions, establishing the cadence for the meetings, right? We just got back our scoring, and it would be great that information, and I'll help participate, would probably go with the compliance committee, and we'll look at how next year we can have the absolute best application by bringing absolutely the most people into conversation and into participation. And so we're not gonna volunteer anybody right now, but that being said, we got some key spots open, and we need some key people to step in. So with that being said, do we even have to vote? Can't we just say, I appoint you all?
I mean, with the number of vacancies outnumbering the candidates, I would say yes. I do have a poll set up, but it's a little bit of a moot point with that fact being in place.
I can move to approve the whole slate.
There you go.
I second.
That's what I like. And also, I'll tell you what we can look at. we can continue to look at the makeup of our board, right? Like there are, you know, I have to tell you, HUD in its infinite wisdom has about 30 different entities they would like represented on the HPRS council. And while we have only 20 spots, right? We also still need to be very mindful of, are we representing the entities that we need? And so what we can do is we'll go through, I'll commit to doing that with the executive committee. We'll go through, we'll look at, we'll make sure what representation that we have as a board, and if there's any missing entities. And then we'll make a recommendation, and anybody else can make a recommendation, but we'll make a recommendation to appoint somebody in the interim outside of election, so that we're this year functioning at a full board slate. How was that? I can see everybody is really agreeing with me.
Absolutely.
See, I told you, you guys, all those little thumbs up, the little hearts are flying, all that's happening. I will tell you, new members, if anything, you'll at least have fun. Like we're at least trying to take a very complicated thing and make it so that it's understandable. All the new members, with the exception of the ones that have been appointed, there will be an orientation. I'll also participate with the coalition, and any of the ones that were appointed, if you want a second orientation, happy to have you do that as well. But we will make sure that everybody that is new to the slate literally understands what is the role of our COC HPRS Advisory Council. You have my commitment on that one. You can't do your job if you don't know what your job is. Okay, Will.
Thanks. Just like along these lines, I was curious if we might like want to try and move to have like another retreat here very soon, now with the new advisory council members on board, and start kind of moving that direction.
Oh my God, Will, you're retreating me to death. Yes, happy to do that. I don't know if we call it a retreat, but I definitely believe that we can have an extended meeting in which we really start understanding the roles. I think often there's also a lot of confusion as the role of the coalition and as the role of the advisory council, who's responsible for Anchored Home, all of those questions that it took us about 2 years to figure out the answers. Well, guess what, team? We have the answers. We understand it. So I will commit to, it's hard in the summertime, but I will commit to making sure that all new members join with that kind of orientation, right? And then that in the fall, that we could get together for an extended period of time and be able to then kind of march toward our next. I will say to this group too, that I want to say maybe the second week in August, our senators are bringing the Secretary of HUD to Alaska. And there are multiple places where they will be. And there is just a lot of discussion, even in my time here, meeting with the HUD team today about how the COC can look different. So as we prepare and we finally get a handle on what we think everything is doing, I think there could be changes, right? And so I want us also to be flexible, but to also recognize that the role that we have is in the space and one of the most important, I believe, in our community of prioritizing some of the needs of our most vulnerable, right? So that being said, it may look different, but we can still all be leaders in that space. Will, did you put your hand back up or is that your little hand staying up? Okay.
I put it back up and um this relates to like both Jamie and what Jamie and Kenny have talked about, and so I don't know if need to like potentially move to change the order of the day or anything, or if there are any reports. I think Jessica might still be out, but
Yeah, they're out.
obviously one of the like the big things happening right now as far as our related to our work is the AO before the assembly on camping, and so I didn't know if it might make sense to use a little bit of time to talk about that if we wanted to think about if it makes sense to try to do a statement or something. I was out of town, so I wasn't able to go to the Tuesday meeting, but just wanted to raise that because it is something um, quite important.
Yeah, I'm not, does anybody know when the vote is actually happening on that?
The next meeting is July 11th. Farina's got it.
Yep, you got it, Roger. July 11th, there will be a special assembly meeting on Friday in the chambers.
So assuming they get through public comment, that's when it'll be up.
And they left public comment open, or they continue public hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that I missed it. I know that, we had some representation, from the organization where I work, and I am very excited to be watching the assembly meeting on my flight from here home. So, I'm happy to take a few minutes to bring up any conversation, and any thoughts that this group, might have on it. But I also know that I do know that we don't have, I don't believe we have any committee reports except for coordinated entry. But I think Laura had to jump off. Laura, are you still on, or did you have to jump off? You should jump off. Will, you might have met. I understand compliance. We're working hard, to get compliance up and going. Roger, I'm going to find you the best co-chair ever, right?
Good. Yes.
And I know that I think the only one that, and Sharon didn't meet, and we need to find a new data person. So at this time, what's typical is that any committees that have met in between the meetings, can bring that information forward. Well, that's you. Because I know that unless Lisa, unless you have a report for the coalition. Sorry, I don't know why my internet is turning off my video.
I do not. I think Yvonne's on.
Yvonne, is there any update that the coalition would like to provide?
Not at this time. There is definitely a few things going on, but and as far as those kind of updates, we don't have any for this meeting.
Okay.
I will mention, Project Homeless Connect, the date for that has been set, but that's more of a thing I think we say usually at the end of the meeting to remind people about that big event. And Roger's probably going to talk about the HRAC.
Yeah, and I know that I should know this. I will say that I got a notice that Meg was awarded one of the top 50 influential women in Alaska on the latest report. We had some amazing people that are also in this space, like Colleen with Cook Inlet Housing Authority. I'm trying to remember the list, but it's amazing that we have such incredible also women that are leaning into this space. But I also think that we're coming up on the last day of Meg in her role at the coalition. What can you remind me that date, Lisa?
July 10th.
Okay. And then after the 10th, then Jessica Parks will be stepping in as an interim while the coalition board works to make sure that the, organization is ready for the best candidate that might come forward for that executive director role. Is that a fair way of saying that, Lisa?
You've got it. That's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm crushed because I don't remember all 50 of the women, but all of them were impressive. Okay, I do think we can go to public questions and comments. If anybody, we do have like a 3-minute kind of space. If any persons would like to step into that role of doing public comment. Kenny.
I want to be public. That'd be exciting. That'd be good.
There you go. Start the clock.
It's stuck. It looks like it's stuck. I could talk for a long time. This is
Kenny. No, Kenny. We're putting the clock on.
No, that's great. Kenny. Thank you. I just really I look at the people on here, and it is such a powerful feeling to see everyone who's given some time to come here on this cause. The potential of this advisory council, and especially the what we were presented on the spreadsheet of some changes that we could consider and so on, really has the potential of making a difference for the community, and especially a lot of 8 applicants for the advisory council, if I counted that right, for it. Yep. Is
9.
9. See, we just went up already. See, look at this already.
Amazing.
The changes at the coalition, the changes and the efforts, as Roger mentioned about Davis and the effort that was put out there. I just really appreciate everyone who's here. Carrie Collins, after 10, 15 years that we're back together in a meeting like this, and others for it too. And so I hope that we're able to live up to what Laura had shared with us, because for even yesterday, I was sitting on my front porch, and a gal was walking down the street, presumably homeless. She asked if I had a smoke. I didn't. She walked down the street. She turned around and came back and walked up our driveway and came up onto my porch and said, "Well, I don't have anywhere else to go. Can I hang out with you?" She sat down in the chair. I invited her to, and we spent the next half hour just being present with each other. And I wish that I had something that I could do more, which is in housing and to fix her family situation. And that her mom died 5 years ago, her brother 2 years ago. She's looking for some people. I don't know where she's staying that night, but she was able to, she even fell asleep, took a nap in the chair. We got her some food and so on. And for us to be able to have such a safety net with more resources and so on, that can be created here. We could teach, now that everyone from Davis is spread all over the community, people are very mindful of this, that we could teach them how to respond, and the Good Samaritan model, where we don't pass them up, but that we go over to them, that we help heal them where they are. We put them on a donkey or in our vehicle to transport them somewhere. We take them to an end. We pay the innkeeper. We stay the night with them, and we make a commitment for a long-term relationship to come back. That kind of teaching and letting people know there is something we can do. This advisory council can really set the pace for that. And I just want to thank you all. So thank you.
Well, Kenny, you got 7 seconds left.
And then
Thank you, Kenny.
So, Roger, we went past committee updates, but we don't have much of an update. But we are anticipating something from the coalition sometime, I think, just between the 10th and the 25th, doing with they're working on a business plan. And HERAC has officially formed. We have minutes. Thank you, Lisa. We had our first organizational meeting. We are collecting members again in the background, and ramping that up. I'm excited for it, and appreciative of the HPRS for the help and support making that happen. And I'm with Kenny. I'm just really optimistic about where we're at as a community. what a world of difference from 3 years ago when everything seemed to be closing in. Now we have multiple providers in the field competing for people to get into different recovery programs and projects, and finding the right people to fit their programs. And I'm really appreciative of True North coming in, bringing in the more in-depth the Crisis Now model that the state's been working on, and was just seemed very difficult to get that that knowledge base connected in Anchorage, but it has now made the connection, and so I'm really excited about where we're at. I got a little bit of anxiety, but a lot of it got relieved in the abatement the other last week, and again, I have just so much relief to see the folks getting hooked up, to see the competing agencies, and in the past, a lot of the homeless folks, when there was only a one size fits all, and they would say it doesn't fit me, it was hard to overcome that in just logical reasoning with them. But now that we have multiple options for them, it's more easier to say, well, then try this one, well, then try that one, or how can somebody adjust their model to better fit what you need? And those conversations are happening. So I am excited about the new members coming on. I'm excited about where we're headed to. This upcoming proposal I'm looking forward to from ACAH to, try to integrate not just a business model, but something that folks can do for engaging in meaningful activity. And this is so huge for people who just don't have a way, a place, means to spend their times in ways that find meaningful. And so very much like the lady that spent a half hour on Kenny's deck, they just need that human touch, and activity that they find meaning in. And if they can earn a wage while they're doing it, oh boy, all the better. So thanks all.
And Mitch, can I get you to put back up the 9 new members? Because I'm getting old and I'm going to forget somebody, so I want to personally thank and welcome Cherish, Chris Schutte, Leslie Riddle, David, Kathy, Tasha, Randy, Olivia, Felicia. Thank you. Thank you for committing your time and your talent to it. I also, just like Kenny said, it's been a long time since we've had the space that public health has been on, our housing authority. So Carrie and our municipality, Farina, thank you. Sometimes we hear things that are hard and that we have to digest and navigate. And I just appreciate that. I know that we're all in this together. So, a personal welcome, a thank you, roll up your sleeves. We're going to get busy with this. And if Will, has anything to say about it, we will be having a retreat every 3 months. So I just think he likes to get together. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's because we have fun food. So anyway, I would close if there's any last minute details. Leslie, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for voting me on. I'm excited to be on the committee. So do you meet at a specific day and time, or is that what you're saying, that you need to set that up?
Yeah, we need to think about our cadence, right? So when all the cadence of the council was established, we were on a 1-year clip. And now with HUD and the COC at a 2-year clip, we're really trying to build up our committee structure to be strong. So committees would meet on a monthly basis, and maybe the full advisory council, in which everybody's invited to committee meetings, right? But it's really up for us to decide if that's on a quarterly basis or every 6 weeks or however, right? We probably would gradually go to quarter, so it might be every 6 weeks that we as a full council meet. We definitely will go through some of that with an orientation, and I promise everybody that's on and going, oh my gosh, what did I just sign up for? you definitely will get some good information about what you signed up for.
Okay.
Grateful that you're there. Grateful that you and, you know, in a for-profit space is sitting in to offer solutions for our housing issues. So want to thank you for doing it. Same thing with Chris Schutte, right? Chris, you bring an excellence of experience that just really, and David, oh my gosh, I mean, Tasha, oh my God, Taffy, I'm just, this is strong, right? And we can do this, and we can bring stronger, and we can be a better community. So with that, any closing comments? I don't know about you, but it's like 9 o'clock here. Oh, any good news? Always should leave on a positive. Good news is I'm leaving here and I'm taking my 85-year-old mom on a cruise that she's always wanted to go on. Why in the heck we're going on a cruise in the middle of July? But it's a celebration of life for a wonderful person, Mildred Mack, who has dedicated her life in Alaska, passed away, and her desire was for us to take her to St. Martin. So that's what I will be doing. And rest assured, Mildred had made a lasting impression on the work with young people in Alaska, and just honored to be a part of sending her off. So.
Thank you. Have fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Taffy. I can only see Taffy and Leslie on my screen. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Hmm.